Anyone wish to speak on the bill? Ms. Dingell, you're recognized for 5 minutes to speak on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move to strike the last word.
You're recognized.
Let me begin by saying I support this process. We are in a new era of college sports, and this committee has an opportunity to help get this right. Sports matters to me, my district, and the state of Michigan, and I appreciate the work that's gone into this so far. And as my colleague just stated, college athletics are deeply embedded in the fabric of communities across the country. They bring people together, instill lifelong values, and open doors to opportunity. I am lucky to represent two major universities, University of Michigan and Eastern Michigan University, but two very different institutions with very different athletic programs. I've seen firsthand the power of sports to inspire, educate, and uplift, but I've also heard from athletes, especially those in non-revenue sports, who worry that without any real guardrails, the future of college athletics could be in real jeopardy. I've spoken to so many athletes who say I'm the only person who's come up to them and asked them how they feel about all this and what they want. A couple of weeks ago, I found myself on the main street of Ann Arbor at an event with our athletic director, who quickly disappeared from the event, the Dingell way, and left me with the new quarterback on the University of Michigan team, Bryce Underwood. Don't forget the name. We're going to be champions again, guys. But I talked to Bryce for a couple hours. He ended up being my bodyguard date. And he said to me, nobody ever talks to us. Nobody ever asks us what we think. These are our lives, but nobody gives us the facts or asks our opinion. Too often, these athletes' voices are overlooked and dismissed. Their perspectives have shaped how I view this topic, and they deserve to be at the center of the conversation. What we see under the lights on Saturday nights or during March Madness is just a piece of the puzzle. The reality for most college athletes, the overwhelming majority, will never go pro, and it's very different. For a majority of college athletes, college sports are not just about competition. They're about education, leadership, and lifelong opportunity, and that's what's at stake here. We need a national framework, one with clarity and real enforcement to bring fairness, transparency, and equity to the new NIL era. We've already seen states competing with one another to get a leg up, and that patchwork is threatening the values and the balance that makes college sports so special. This bill has made real progress. I appreciate the chair's ongoing conversations and dialogue. It protects the NIL rights of college athletes. It increases the transparency of NIL agreements and agent registration. It's made progress, but we need more on greater health and academic protections, and it codifies some long overdue standards. These were meaningful steps forward, but there's a lot more work we've got to do. Title IX must be at the center of this conversation. We cannot allow new compensation models to widen the gap between men and women's sports. We need stronger gender equity protections written into law to ensure all athletes have equal opportunities and support. And I'm lucky I've got the wisdom of a number of women coaches who have been in this game for a long time. We need their input and thoughts, and they are worried. We must preserve the breadth of college sports, including non-revenue and Olympic sports. At a school like the University of Michigan, the revenue from football and men's basketball helps sustain more than 24 other varsity sports. And that model also supports thousands of athletes and fuels our Olympic pipeline. We are the only country in the world that does not help its Olympians prepare and train. And we are threatening our Olympic pipeline. That structure's at risk. Athletic representation must be real, and this is something that really matters. College athletes from revenue and non-revenue sports at large and small schools deserve a seat at the table. They need and have the right to a voice in the decisions that impact their futures and protections around things like medical care, academic support, NIL, and revenue sharing. We need real transparency and accountability. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to say that the antitrust exemption must be narrow and justified. You can't have it so that if someone has been, as it was at the University of Michigan, abused by their doctor cook, that the athletes can't seek justice. We've made good progress thus far in this bill, and I want to thank my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, from the ranking member and the chairman, that we can keep working together to get this right for the full committee. Thank you, and I yield back.